Booktube, Science Fiction Reads here with another recent reads and book haul. So what have I been reading lately? I read Crashlander by Larry Niven. This seemed like a good introduction to Known Space, his future history. And I've read Ringworld, Protector, and I think A World at a Time is part of the Known Space universe, I believe. I read all three of those years ago. This is a collection of the Beowulf Schaefer stories, and they were good. They were harder science than I expected, which was good. I really enjoyed them. My favorite story in this was the Borderland of Seoul, wherein Beowulf and a couple other characters are on their way back to Earth system, and they're knocked out of hyperspace. And this is mysterious because this can only happen if you pass by, a large mass like a star or a planet. And the only thing nearby is three mining spacecraft or something. And they kind of meet like a evil scientist, I guess. He's not really evil, but he's got plans because he's managed to harness the power of a very, very small, very tiny black hole, which he has then somehow put an electric charge to it so that using 3 tugs and magnets, he can move it around. So they kind of bump people out of hyperspace and I think loot them, I guess. And our heroes kind of, as always, outwit the bad guy. But it was really cleverly done, and it was much more harder science fiction than I expected, which is why there's a bit of a theme here with what I read next. Another short story collection, Neutron Star. About half of these were Crashlander stories, so a bit of repetition, so I got through this one quickly. My favorite from this would have been, I think, the Soft Weapon, where we've got some 2 humans and a Pearson puppeteer on their way home. They stop by a planet because they think they might have found something there, but it's actually a Zinti trap. Zinti or Kazinti? I think it's Zinti, like the cat people. And they kind of fight over this slaver technology, which was found in a stasis box. The slavers were like a race that ruled the galaxy many, many millions of years in the past. And these slaver stasis boxes pop up in some of these stories. And they're kind of one of my favorite parts of the Known Space universe because whatever's in there is, it's out of time. So in one of them, they find like raw meat that's 1 billion years old, but it's still fresh. So they find a weapon, and basically it's the humans trying to outwit the Zinti. They can't let the Zinti get home with it because it's like a variable weapon. It's got many different features, very powerful. And they can't let the Zinti take it home. That was a good one. After that, at this point, I'm becoming kind of obsessed. So now I've read Tales of Known Space. I liked this one less than the other 2. I think because chronologically the stories in here take place before the other 2 collections, and so they're less space opera-y than I'd like. They take place like on Mars and Earth. Still really good. I really am enjoying the Known Space universe. I like the various species and planets. I'm now reading, I've just started The World of the Tabs, or Patabs, I'm not sure. Very short, Known Space novel. Should take like a day and a half, 2 days to read. I meant to show this a little earlier. The Borderland of Seoul, that's probably my favorite Known Space story so far. And a long time ago, I came across this old analog science fiction magazine from 1975. I didn't know any of the context, but I framed it because I loved the art. This has just sat on my shelf for quite a while. And I had always known about the Borderland of Seoul story by Larry Niven because it's right there, but it turns out like the artwork is from that. So there's the spacecraft, which is not exactly how I pictured the spacecraft from No in Space, but I actually really like this illustration. And that's the Moon Jinx, which orbits a gas giant and is tidally locked and kind of been pulled into the shape of an egg. But I've always liked this artwork, so I framed the whole magazine because it just fit in there perfect. So then to have finally read the story years later and really like it is just really cool. So that's what I've read recently. Currently reading this. I'm just barely in, but I think I'm gonna love it. I'm tracking down, I think Monday I'm picking up a couple books from a local guy that sells books, and I've got another collection of Larry Niven's in that, The Long Arm of Gil Hamilton. Those are No in Space stories, and a couple other Niven books. So I'll show those off in the future. And now what I've picked up recently, which is not much, In the Problem Pit by Frederick Pohl, which is a collection of short stories I mentioned in my previous video. If I've read anything by Pohl, it would only have been short stories, maybe one or two in various anthologies. I'm going to try and prioritize this because I feel like Pohl is an important figure in the history of science fiction. Then I got the sequel to The Color of Distance Through Alien Eyes by Amy Thompson. Not sure when I'll get around to this, but as I raved about in previous videos, I loved the first book, so I had to get this because it's a continuation of the story of two of the alien characters who were kind of my favorites in the previous book, so had to get that. Alan Dean Foster, the Taryam Krang. I haven't read anything by him before. I believe this is the first Pippin Flinks novel. And knowing very little about that series from afar, it kind of looks like young adult, but I know it's space opera-ish, so maybe I'll get around to this sometime. It's in very rough shape. Okay, I think I've mentioned, maybe I haven't mentioned, these next books, I already own them. They're all Neil Asher, except for the last one. I have almost everything by Neil Asher, so here's Line War, which is actually one of my favorites of his. I bought this to replace this copy because I want them all to match. I want them all to be the same size, and I'm almost there. So I replaced Line War, Orbis is replacing, this is one I haven't even read. I bought this brand new, but I'm still replacing it with like a battered old, worse condition, but it's gonna look great on the shelf. And I'll just add all my Ashers that I'm getting rid of into a lot, and I guess try and sell them on eBay. Shadow of the Scorpion, which is kind of a prequel to the Cormac novels. I've read the 5 Cormac novels, but I have not read this. That replaces a hardcover that I bought, which was supposed to be this. This is what I bought online a couple years ago, but this is what arrived. I haven't read this one yet either. So I replaced that. War Factory, it's massive. Again, when I bought it online, it said it was this edition, but it wasn't. I have read this. Now it's replaced with the proper size. I've only got, I think, 3 more coming in the mail, and then I think I'll have everything of his, more or less, in the editions I want, aside from his newest novel, and I gotta wait. I think Weaponized, it's already out, but not, still gotta wait like half a year to get this paperback edition, so I'll have to wait for that. And last, by L.E. Modestet Jr., Hayes. I've never read anything by him. I have a feeling this is a very prolific author because, I mean, you see his stuff everywhere, tons of books. I've never seen anything in his that really interested me, but this apparently has nanotechnology, cyberpunk feels. I'm not thrilled that it's a big hardcover, but I'll give it a try, and if I really love it, maybe I'll replace it. Well, maybe not. If I really love a book, I tend to keep the hardback or even look for a hardback edition, but we'll see. And yeah, that's it for now. I think I'm gonna stick with the Larry Niven for a while because I'm really really enjoying that. I might even reread Ringworld shortly. Other than that, as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.